Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this Fighter Jet Roundtable Tournament, Episode 1, Season 2. That's right, we're back for Season 2 with a whole host of new competitors, new and old faces, and hopefully plenty of new submissions from all of you that are watching and competing. Yes, today's a very special time. In fact, it's just a little over a year since the official Season 1 of Fighter Jet Roundtable ended. Well, at least other than, no limits and all that other nonsense. But yes, the actual tournament debuted around the 1st of last year, 2020, and good riddance to it. But here we're 2021, which is one better than 2020, and hopefully Season 2 will be one better than Season 1. But enough prattling by me. I'm glad to have you all back. But what you're really here for are the fighters and the competitors. So let's go ahead and get on down to the Watchtower and the Round Table and take a look and see what we have in store for you all today. And here we are after a whole year back at the Watchtower and the Round Table. For those of you that are new here, this is effectively the Watchtower. It's gotten a bit of an upgrade since last season, mostly because Kaz lost the craft file for the old one, but that's okay. As you can see, it's modeled after an aircraft control tower, which looks much more official than the actual aircraft control tower over there for the desert airfield. And sitting up here, right up there, see if we can turn it on here, is Kaz Kerman, our little great observer there in front of his radar screen so he can watch everything that's going on. He is our lonely observer and we love him dearly. So let's go ahead and enough about that. Anyway, so it is customary for the most part of these things to have, some sort of neutral observer, at least to start things off. Reason being, there's something apparently called the observer effect, which can occasionally change the way that craft behave, at least when they first start off. So, with that in mind, the Watchtower here will act as our neutral observer to make sure that things stay as fair and balanced as we possibly can. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at our competitors. So over here on Team A, we have the F21 sent in by Mecha Meme. And if we go ahead and turn on VD Armory here, we can see that they're on Team A, and this is the F-21S Phoenix. Both of them are the Phoenixes. There is a slight difference between the two aircraft, and I do believe it is the special weapons they are carrying. So, well, let's go ahead and dissect this aircraft, which we do for all an aircraft. So, first things first, it looks like it's rocking some FJRT2 swag. Can get behind that. Thank you. I'm glad to see somebody using those flags. Anyway, also have some custom flags on the back here. I tried to make sure that those were properly represented on the craft. And let's go ahead and take a look and see what the armament is down here. It looks like they ended up going for AIM-9X Sidewinder missiles, those from the KBF pack, and of course the ever-popular AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles, also from the KBF pack. As far as engines, we can see they have the bog standard B9 Saturns, which have received a fancy nerf since last season. They still do everything just fine, all things considered, but on the other hand, they're a little heavier, so they're a little more balanced. With that in mind, all the other engines that are typically used for competition have also been changed. So as far as special weapon, which everybody is allowed to have one, we can see that he seems to have gone on this one with the Pulse Laser, which I'm always a fan of. we also have a new custom model for those, which I would urge people to use just because they look so pretty, and one of our community members made them for us. Thank you, Stardust! Anyway, so that's the S Phoenix. The A model Phoenix over here, on the other hand, is it outfitted with a special weapon? It looks like it might not be. Kind of difficult to tell. Could be special. It could be Macross Missile Massacre is what it's kind of looking like, actually. If these are yep, those are bog standard AIM-9 missiles, which means this thing is designed with the Macross Missile Massacre in mind. It means it'll fire lots of missiles at the enemy and hope to explode them before getting in close. Don't see any guns. They could just be... there they are. Fancy. These are the GAU-22A 25 by 137 millimeter cannons. Or the GAU-22. I'm going to call them the GAU-22 for the rest of the tournament. And that is a custom weapon made by me. It's using the model from BD Armory, but it is a beefed up, larger version of the Vulcan. The GAU-22 is actually the ground attack gun that is equipped on the F-35 stealth everything. They made it to do everything. It cost a lot of money. Anyway, so enough looking at our good buddy Mecha Meme's planes here. Let's go ahead and see what these two craft will be fighting. And here we are on Team B. It's just the second team. Doesn't mean you're any less. This is the N00B Reaper Mark IV, or Noob Reaper Mark IV. But just because they're new competitors doesn't mean they're noobs. They're just kind of learning the trade. Either way, this wonderful creation was sent in by Johns1169.
Nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. First things first, it's using one of those fancy advanced flanker cockpits from N&B. Very nice. They used to have a hilariously broken radar, which has since been patched and fixed for things in the mod pack. So they also have had all B9 cockpits, as a matter of fact, have had their stealth capability removed with a patch because BD Armory recently got a stealth update that buggered up a lot of things, but we have everything working now, so huzzah! Either way, let's go ahead and take a look at these. These are identical aircraft, but as we can see, they've got two AIM-120Ds, once again from the KBF pack. Looks like AIM-9X Sidewinders. Looks like they might have had... They do! They actually have rotating missile racks in the side with more Sidewinders. Those are AIM-9Xs again. Looks like these have another AIM-120D and another... That's actually pretty cool. I do like that. Very, very cool use of the missile racks, actually. And of course, QAMs. Yes, everybody remembers the QAMs, the quick maneuver air-to-air missile, fire and forget. Thank you, Max, for that. Very squirrely and annoying little radar missiles. On the back, we've got Saturns and some tweak-scaled B9 engines. Pretty cool. Those very recently, by me, also got engine balance updates to bring the two main ones, this one and the turbojet, in line with other competitive style engines, so everyone has two more engines that they can potentially use. That is awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the engine choices everybody takes. It's not just the Saturn anymore. That being said, it looks like a rather boxy design. Not sure how stealthy it's going to be, but, stealth isn't everything. Either way, let's go ahead and get our competitors started and into the air for round one. So, for those of you somewhat unfamiliar with how we do things here in FJRT, we do best of 5, which means, sorry, not best of 5, that would take forever. Best of 3! We do best of 3, which means the first pair of aircraft here to win 2 fights continues to go on to the next rounds. That being said, that means there's no just once and done and that sort of thing, so every craft has a chance to really show their stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and get them into the sky and kick off round 1 of Season 2 for FJRT. and start competition. And we are off, ladies and gentlemen, with both pairs of fighters taking to the air. Now, we have a 20-kilometer distance set up so that everyone effectively has the ability to make use of their long-range munitions. And it also gives a chance for stealth to actually play into the fight. See, the BDA stealth change made it so that crafts, well, they have a harder time being discovered when they get farther away from you, as long as you're, building for stealth and other things. Effectively, it gives you a better chance at getting first shot, which is very important. That allows you to shoot down your target very quickly. That being said, however, stealth is not everything. If you build a crappy craft, it's going to fly like a brick, and you'll just get blown up anyway, regardless of how stealthy it is. So, stealth is not everything. That being said, though, the extended range is pretty nice. So, once again, these craft are heading out. Once they fire their first rounds of missiles, I, of course, will start moving between them as best as I can to show you what is going on in the fights. Since the watchtower is more or less right in the center down there, once each of these get to about 10 kilometers away from the watchtower, they are now hitting about 8 kilometers, they will start, because that means their distance will be about 20 kilometers away from each other. So, we shouldn't have very much longer to wait here. In fact, I'm probably going to cut out the loading times, the fly times for this. So everybody gets to enjoy it, and I don't have a huge video. And we've got 10 kilometers. Competition officially starts right off the bat. The Reaper Mark IVs get a shot off with those missiles. Not sure what those are. One of them at least has to be a quam. In fact, I would guess both of them are actually quams. Quams, though, they don't really have to rely on stealth. They are, first and foremost, cruise missiles. They launch when a fighter is detected and then fly in that general direction, and then once they get close enough for their built-in radar to take over, the radar will then guide it to the target. So, anyway, we have other missiles coming in. We've had some missiles hitting the ground. Phoenix is launching countermeasures. Reaper eating. Ooh, jeez. Reaper eating long-range missiles. Not sure what those were. Probably AIM-120. Yep, they're AIM-120Ds. That being said, the Reaper has been blasted off the face of the Earth. And in typical tradition, we're going to go ahead and get into fighter mode now that this is officially a 1v2. So, here we are, things coming in. It is trying to flip between targets, firing its AIM-120Ds at, well, about as far as it can. Missile streaks in, hitting the underside, but the craft is, it looked like it was a standoff blast. The farther away you are from missile detonation, the less damage that missile will do to your target. Dumping flares as all manner of missiles and everything start just coming in here. Just to make sure I can see everything, we're going to go ahead and go out of fighter mode, and then just go to standard mode. We've got more missiles coming in. You also notice we an improvement from last season. We have the BD Armory team icons, so we can tell what aircraft is which. Although the one downside is it's a little cluttered if I try to turn it on and see what missile is going. Luckily, BDA thing up here tells me what missiles are probably being shot. At this point, the Reaper seems to be hitting its minimum altitude. It is gaining altitude, trying to remain up. Has a lock on the closer Phoenix. We might soon be getting into gun range here. Nope, we have another very quick thing. Heat Seekers trying to do their thing. We have the GAU-22 and the Pulse Laser Phoenix unloading from range, trying to get up into the business. Those explosive rounds on the GAU-22 putting a very quick end to round one of this tournament. Well, fighting round one between this. We still have in theory, 2 more fights to go. And let's go ahead and get into round 2. Ooh, that was just rude. And here we are for round 2. Let's go ahead and get them started, and I'll talk just a little bit more. I'm so glad we don't have to stage the planes anymore. Thank you, whoever did that. I'm gonna guess it was Hostway. Not sure who, but either way, thank you. So let's go ahead and zoom on out here while those planes go ahead and get back into position. So you may have noticed that some of those kills early on were from radar missiles. That is where the benefit of stealth really comes into play. If you can downplay your enemy's radar missiles early on, you get a nice advantage with that first shot benefit. However, you can still build a competitive craft as long as it isn't stealthy, just by virtue of it being very maneuverable. That being said, I'm going to shut up, speed up the footage, and you'll hear from me again when we are back in the fight. And competitions start. Bada bing, bada boom. Once again, those Quams getting launched first, you can actually see. Meanwhile, the Reapers are dealing with the AIM-120Ds being launched from the Phoenixes. 120s versus Quams. Yeah. These are both not particularly stealthy aircraft, especially if they're being detected or fired at that long. Although, Quams, being sneaky buggers that they are, probably don't need to rely on stealth aircraft to be able to do what they're doing. That being said, you can see that the A Phoenix, which is the one with the special weapon loadout, the MMM, is just hemorrhaging missiles coming out here. Reaper number 1 back here is... Ooh, that is a direct hit. Not sure. We've got standoff blasts. Not sure. We do have debris. Phoenix getting taken out by a missile. Ooh. Hey, the tables have turned. Now it is the A Phoenix versus both of the Reapers. That Reaper has taken some massive damage. Let's get in here and watch the fight. That's interesting. It looks like the Phoenix here is set to target missiles, perhaps with its own missiles. It is dumping flare and chaff to try and evade the Reaper's missiles coming in for it. Turning very hard there. Radar going proud. Very fancy-looking aircraft, these Phoenixes. Let's see if it can rise from the ashes of its dead companion, or will it be... taken in for a beating by the Reaper. You know, I'm having flashbacks to Season 1 right about now. Something about seasons not fearing the Reaper, or the Son of the Rain, something like that. Anyway, more chaff and flares being launched. Let's go ahead and snap on over the Reaper, see how it's doing. Meanwhile, comparatively, the Reaper's got its 4 engines trying to do its best here. Not quite sure why the engine sounds are being so strange. Not sure. Either way, you can see that the jammers were active on the Phoenix. Phoenix now getting in close, coming in. GAU-22 getting ready to try and light up the Phoenix! This could very quickly turn into a turn fight. Both pilots seeming to size one another up. Phoenix now on the tail of the Reaper, coming back around. Both of these aircraft now jockeying for position. A little voice break there. Jockeying for position. Whoa. Jeez, okay. This is the new BDA AI behavior. Phoenix getting, some nice explosive shots on the rear with that GAU-22. And dead to rights. Boom, boom, boom. GAU-22 making short work. Oh, jeez. Woo. Oh, yeah. You don't want to get that GAU to the face. It'll really hurt you. Another very strong turn here. Is it going to be the killing blow? Reaper hits the ground. And that's going to be it for the Reaper, folks. That is all she wrote. The winner of the first round Well, the first round of fights in Season 2 of Fighter Jet Roundtable 2 is the F-21 Phoenixes. Congrats, Mecha. You're in the running, boy. Now then, let's get into our next batch. So, just as a quick aside here between round 1 and round 2, just because you get knocked out of the running in this tournament doesn't mean you can't resubmit another plane. Our good buddy John's 1169 is, well, he's a new face to the competition here, so don't feel too bad about that. You can always submit another one. Plus, well, in addition to that, everybody who has submitted aircraft to this so far, for the most part, well, you're fighting some of the nastiest dogfight builders anyway, in the Kerbal Space Program community. After all, that's basically what Tape honed his server to do, and a lot of them are taking part in this competition. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get those planes onto the field. And here we are for the aircraft in round 2 of episode 1. Let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at what we got here. First off, over here on Team A, we have the F-17 Cometa Geomod 2. Sent, well, apparently, I don't know, they had something about Tokyo. That one over there is Tokyo Ska Paradise. Okay, anyway, this one is sent in by, well, relative newcomer to FJRT anyway, Cody. Nice, normal, simple name. And a nice, normal, simple-looking plane. I gotta say, I like how small it is. I like how traditional aircrafty it looks. It looks like it'll probably turn really well, really tightly, actually, especially with the surfaces here and the Saturn. I bet this little thing is a turning devil. That being said, it looks like they opted for the QAM special weapons and are running with the legendary PL-10 Team Killer missiles. Hopefully they won't have to deal with that too much. Here we have the ECM jammer, which should help to keep these little things slightly stealthy. Well, stealthier anyway. And let's see if it has an IWS in here. Looks like it might not. Well, that's its loss. Either way, really tiny, very nice looking plane with a lot of get up and go. As we can see, it's got the Cow 22 on it. Don't let it catch you out. It'll do horrible things to your butt. Very, very cool little plane. I really do like this plane. I hope it goes very far. So, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at what it's up against. So, over here on Team B, we have the peeled orange Tokyo Ska Paradise, sent in by 39 Clues. Very cool looking aircraft, very sleek, very sexy. I love the wing shaping here. And these are all stock parts, by the way. Getting that kind of a shape using just stock parts is, that is the mark of someone who knows exactly what they're doing. Very, very cool, and of course I love the split air brakes thing going on. Of course, there are some who might argue it's a little cheaty because you get more control authority, whatever. It just looks cool. And, you know, if that's what's going to make or break your aircraft, then okay. But I feel like there's more to it than just that. That being said, I noticed this plane is using Panthers. Okay. That is a unique choice, to be sure. Panthers, stock engines in general, not the best when it comes to performance. It may have been way back in the Fighter Jet Showdown days, but definitely not so much now. Definitely a much more deadly combination now these days, especially with Saturns and all the other engines we have. That being said, it did have a normal radome in here too, which I find curious, as the enemy cockpit does actually have a very good radar in it already. Well, it's also got a single Vulcan gun in here, so it's not going to be, you know, shooting heavy-duty explosive guns out there, and has bog standard missiles. A beautiful-looking aircraft, but feeling very much like Last Generation, which means it should be a very, well, I'm looking forward to the fight, we'll say that much. Not sure who's going to win it. Will it be the Cometa, or will it be the Peeled Orange? Let's go ahead, get back to the Watchtower, and find out. And here we are at the Watchtower, getting ready to get these planes into the air. Let's start that competition! And the Cometas are... Please don't crash into each other. Please don't crash into each other. Holy mackerel, that was close. I mean, Kaz never makes mistakes. He's perfect in every single way. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut up and wait till they get into position.
A few inches later.
Yikes! That's rough. That's very rough indeed. But, very unfortunate. However, if your plane can't avoid terrain, well, that's on you. So I guess we're going to be seeing, just to give it the best benefit I possibly can, let's go ahead and watch from the Peeled Orange's perspective here, get into fighter mode. You can see those Panthers trying to put in some work there. Not awful thrust to weight. I mean, compared to standard engines we have for the most part in FJRT, not that great, but also not god-awful. I mean, it should be able to maneuver fairly well even in tight gunfighting quarters, but it is going to suffer a bit when it comes to speed and closing in. So, as we can see, it's got the 120 lock on the Cometa. The Cometa is firing flares, trying to get out of the way. Meanwhile, we have, well, some missiles coming in. Not sure. Quams actually being evaded. Remember, a member of the community was expressing some concern over being able to break missile locks or not with all that other fun stuff when it gets to super close. However, we've got PL-10s that the Peeled Orange is trying to evade right now. And that, well, those little GAU-22s doing their best here trying to light this aircraft up. 2v1 is hard for any aircraft. Luckily, it looks like the wing shaping has actually been helpful at that. Looks like it can fly without the wingtips, which were the weakest part of those wings. Good for it. However, it just is suffering so much when it comes to speed that it's easy target for these aircraft. The Cometas. At some point, the Cometas were actually mocked for just how, I don't know, normal they looked, but, well, they definitely are putting the hurt on the aircraft. Maybe that would have been better if the other one had not, you know, decided to smash itself into the ground. Either way, that's a win for the Cometas. Let's go ahead and get into round 2. So here we are for round 2, and full disclosure, I went ahead and edited the default altitudes of the aircraft over here, just to give the Peeled Orange a fair chance. That first failure of slamming into the mountain, though, is going to still count against them as they go ahead and move into the second round here. Technically, the Cometa only has to win once more before it is the effective winner of this matchup. But I am a benevolent overlord. That being said, I feel that the Peeled Orange does deserve a chance to try and show us what it's got. And to that end, I decided to edit its maximum and minimum altitudes just to make sure that it isn't going to slam into the ground and attempt some unplanned litho-braking maneuvers. And even still, you can see that it is trying to gain altitude, and well, it still says gaining altitude. So hopefully it will do that. Anyway, once again, silent Kaz while we go ahead and move ahead till the fight starts. Hopefully with less litho-braking. So, I am going to interject before we get started, though, just to remind everybody that you are responsible for the behavior of your craft. I know not everyone necessarily has access to the to the DLC per se, but you can try to be safe by setting your minimum and maximum altitudes to something a little more reasonable. Expecting the BDA AI to perfectly avoid terrain is, not the smartest thing to do. There's always a chance of error. So let's try to keep that in mind. That being said, the Peeled Orange does manage to get the first shots off with those AIM-120s. And just like that, the Cometas are now moving in. So, since we watched the Peeled Orange last time, let's go ahead and watch from the Cometa's point of view as they go ahead and start closing the distance here. We've got that radar warning receiver coming in, letting them know that horrible, horrible things are happening. The Quams are, the Quam and a PL-10 getting launched at relatively close ranges. PL-10, very nasty, and, it managed to avoid both. The aircraft, I would say the Peeled Orange is still, for the most part, on the back foot here. After all, the Cometa seems to be the stronger gunfighter. Maybe not the it's, I would say it's definitely faster also, due to that more powerful engine. We've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Just to make sure, I am gonna wait a minute, we might have some guns. We've got the Gal. Oh boy. And the Cometa is changing targets for some reason. I don't know why it would do that, but there we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Peeled Orange trying to turn around and coming from the back. Let's go ahead and see how this Cometa's doing. Turning in, looks like we have a close-range missile flying in. Beautiful looking aircraft, these oranges. Very, very pretty indeed. That being said, I am going to drop out of fighter mode just because it would be interesting to see the greater picture, especially since we've got quite a furball going on. And as I do, we have a missile slamming into one of the Cometas. That is the first one up here. Let's go ahead and slip on over that, see what kind of damage it took. It is not moving. Engine completely taken out by that blast. That Cometa is down. We might still have a bit of a fight on our hands, though. Let's go ahead and head into fighter mode, as this is now a 2v1 situation. That Cometa is more or less out of the fight, at least until it lands, at which point I will press the big red button and things will explode to make sure the AI is, focusing on the things it really should be focusing on instead of some random shit on the ground. So we have the Cometa turning in over here in a heavy-duty 11G turn. We are lucky that Kerbals are made of tougher stuff than humans. Not sure what they're made out of. Maybe plants, algae, sponges. I don't know. Condensed bravery and stupidity. I don't know. Depends on what you believe. That being said, the Cometa seems to be doing quite nicely. Let's see how long it's got. Ooh, does not have a lot of burn time left on that engine. Its engine might burn out before the Peeled Orange has a chance to, once that engine goes out, though, the Peeled Orange will have a good chance of just picking it away out of the sky. Right now, we've got the single Vulcan turret on the Peeled Orange coming in to try and blast away the Cometas. I do like the looks of both of these aircraft. But I am a fan of the stealthy look of the Peeled Orange here. But no matter, try as it might, it seems like it's having a hard time maneuvering to keep its guns on target on that Cometa. Meanwhile, the Panther is hilariously fuel efficient. I would be very surprised if it ran out of fuel before the Cometa did. Speaking of which, I'm not seeing any exhaust trail on that Cometa. I'm pretty sure we are out of fuel. That is a really shitty way to lose, let me tell ya. Make sure to put enough fuel in your aircraft, friends. 5 minutes, probably not enough unless you have extreme confidence in your aircraft. So this Cometa has until it hits the ground, and then I'm calling the fight. It is still possible it could kill something. I don't think it has any missiles left. It does not. That being said, it is very, very slowly losing altitude. So, it is possible that... Well, actually, I'm fairly certain it is not that possible, to be fair. I don't think it's actually going to get to do much of anything. We have some engaging going on, finally. Peeled Orange hitting those Afterburner. Well, it's been on Afterburner. Afterburner trying to get it to turn around and hit the Cometa. I really want to call this, but at the same time, well, there's not a whole lot. I never counted Kraft out. I've seen some miracle comebacks before in my day. That being said, though, let's cut to when things get a little more interesting, shall we? And the gear comes down for the Cometa. Bit of a rough landing. That engine, I'm sure they can just slap another one on there. That's how engines work, right? Any landing you can walk away from. Anyway, it looks like it's now 1-1. Let's go ahead and get into the first round 3 of Season 2. And here we are for round 3. Hit that start competition button. See, this is why you need to make sure you check your aircraft, to be honest. I mean, if it's something I did that makes your aircraft crash, well, I'm going to try and do my best to fix that. Obviously, I'm not a monster. I'm just kind of sarcastic. That being said, though, if your plane repeatedly crashes into the ground, there's only so much pity I can give you. I was feeling generous because it sucks to just kind of casually win by default. And, well, looks like the Peeled Orange is doing its best. But there is no doubt that this plane certainly could have been built and tuned better, despite the fact that it won. After all, if the Cometas had not run out of fuel, it is very likely that the Peeled Orange would have been sliced and diced rather than just peeled. And after that terrible joke, let's go ahead and, well, wait till game time. Huh? What? Oh, competition's starting. Haha. The one downside of the 20-kilometer start time is, oh boy, does it take a long time for them to get out there. Twice as long as 10 kilometers, if you can imagine that. Haha. Math. Anyway, we've got, once again, the Peeled Oranges firing those AIM-120s first. Cometa's not stealthy, but they are small. We are dumping chaff, not many flares. Close, almost a hit. Ooh, splitting the difference between those two Cometas. Looks like we've got more missiles. This time we'll go back to the Peeled Orange, see what it's doing. First missile pass is done. A very pretty looking formation flight from the two Peeled Oranges as they move. Even if it is not the fastest aircraft, it is certainly very pretty. That missile looks like it's tracking nicely and just barely manages to miss the Cometa. Missiles now being launched. PL-10s, it appears, from the Cometas. Dumping flares very heavily from the Cometa. Now chaff. It's quams coming in from the Cometas. And, uh-oh. Oh, it's trying to get a gun lock. Alright, we can actually see all the aircraft now. Well, we could have until this one decided to change its position a bit. Let's go ahead and use camera mode. Boy, I do love it. We had a gunshot. Not sure from what, but in the interest of, well, actually, hold on. We might have a missile hit. Ooh, what a good track onto that Cometa. Nice close-range missile shot. Woo! Alright, let's go ahead and see how much damage this one is. That wasn't the Cometa at all. This is the Cometa. Not so good at taking that missile. Having a bad day. But it could get better. Who knows? Could we have a surprise upset? Is this going to be the biggest upset in the history of sports? This early on? In episode 1? Holy shit, we could have a real fight on our hands. Whoever wins this one goes home, goes to the next round. Of episode 1 and such. The finals of episode 1. And we've got missile. Oh, the ground is never something you want to see coming up that quickly. Cometas are fast and can turn quite nicely, but they seem to not make the most efficient use of that. Though again, persistence does seem to be paying off. Looks like we've got evasion routines going here for the Cometa. Cometa doing its very best. I am going to turn this nav ball off so we have a more unobstructed view of our beautiful little aircraft here. And the peeled orange is sitting there. The GAU-22 could end this right quick if it could possibly get a solid hit. GAU-22 does not take any prisoners, that's for sure. And there we see just a quick little peel from that Vulcan, taking care of those low HP stock parts on the end of the wing. Swept wings are pretty good about keeping that stuff together, but anything else, the stock wing pieces and connectors, though they can be shaped to look pretty, do not have durability on their side. Especially since the P-wings got fixed in this most recent change. Missile streaks by. Once again, the Cometa is getting really low on fuel, and it is damaged. I dare say the peeled orange, well, I don't know. Insert fruit pun here. Maybe we could say the pilot of the Cometa is going to have to deal with some sour grapes from the peeled orange.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer.
That being said, it could still get a kill. It's trickling on fuel. It just can't seem to get its guns in a decent position, despite the fact it is using outdated engines. It is going to show that a good plane design, well, is still a good plane design. And Cometa's about to run out of fuel, and it's out. No more fuel for that Cometa. And the peeled oranges circling around it like vultures. They're like fruit bats, preparing to maul the husk of the Cometa. The Cometa's fiery tail seems to have gone out, and it will soon streak into the ground. Hopefully for a nice soft landing, where it will be able to, well, fight again. Though just not in this tournament. And here it comes. Ooh! Well, they will be walking away from that landing, but still, that was a lot rougher than the other one. In any case, we have our first two winners for Episode 1. Stay tuned for the finals of Episode 1. Thank you, BDA, for clearing that up. You just murdered a Kerbal. Anyway, that being said, the last aircraft for today is the peeled orange sent in by the one and only 39 Clues. So, tune in for part 2 of Episode 1, where we will be seeing who wins between the F-21 Phoenix and the peeled orange. I have been Kaz. Until then, happy building and happy blasting.